water buffalo escapes with a single bite on its leg. It walks for miles and finally finds a mud pool to rest. The danger seems completely over, but the buffalo is already dead. It just does not know yet. This is the island of Komodo. 3 miles away, a 90-kilogram lizard slowly turns its heavy head. It does not sprint to catch the fleeing animal. The initial strike was never meant to be a killing blow in that moment. The waiting game begins now. The predator flickers a yellow, forked tongue into the dry wind. It steps forward at a slow and unhurried walking pace. The tongue captures invisible chemical particles and delivers them to a sensory organ. It reads the air like a map and follows a scent trail. This invisible path spans up to 9 kilometers across the volcanic island. It never loses the path while the buffalo continues to bleed. For decades, science blamed a dirty mouth full of bacteria for this slow death. Textbooks claimed the prey died from a massive infection days later. That entire theory was wrong. Magnetic resonance imaging revealed the true weapon hidden inside the skull. 6 complex venom glands sit beneath the lower jaw of the dragon. They do not pump venom. The toxic proteins flow down the serrated teeth. The venom prevents the blood from clotting at the wound site. It does not paralyze muscles like a snake strike. It forces a catastrophic drop in blood pressure across the circulatory system. The buffalo falls into shock and stumbles in the shallow mud pool. Its heart pumps weaker with every passing hour under the hot sun. It cannot stand up anymore. The dragon is still walking over sharp volcanic rocks and dense brush. It does not need eyes because the chemical signature guides every footstep. A reptile metabolism requires very little energy compared to warm-blooded predators. It can afford to walk for 3 consecutive days without eating anything. Patience is its ultimate hunting strategy. Other predators rely on speed. This giant lizard relies entirely on the cold mathematics of blood loss. The dragon arrives at the muddy waterhole after a long journey. The buffalo looks up, but cannot move its heavy limbs at all. The venom has done the heavy lifting that physical combat usually requires. Now the feeding truly begins. There is no chewing. The dragon tears off massive pieces of meat. It throws its heavy head backward to force the chunk down its throat. The skull bones are not rigidly fused together like those of mammalian predators. Specialized joints expand outward to accommodate flesh larger than its own head. But swallowing pieces this large creates a totally new and dangerous problem. It blocks the airway entirely. The reptile cannot breathe through its nostrils. A normal predator would suffocate during such a rapid feeding frenzy. A small breathing tube located under the tongue connects directly to the lungs. It acts like a biological snorkel while the mouth remains completely blocked. It never stops consuming meat. The stomach expands as it consumes 80% of its own body weight. It cleans the massive carcass down to the bare, solid bone structure. Nothing is wasted in this harsh and isolated island environment. The corrosive stomach acid dissolves hooves and horns within a few days. Another dragon emerges from the tall grass, drawn by the incredibly strong scent. It is a younger male looking for an opportunity to scavenge the remains. The scent of a fresh kill alters the social dynamics of the surrounding area. The first dragon stops eating immediately and turns around to face the intruder. A confrontation is simply inevitable. They do not immediately bite each other over the remaining buffalo food. The larger male stands up entirely on his 2 powerful hind legs. The muscular tail acts as a tripod to balance the heavy torso upright. They grapple and wrestle in a violent display of raw physical dominance. Dust fills the air as the younger dragon is thrown against the dirt. He submits by lying flat on his stomach and remaining absolutely still. The king returns to his hard-earned meal and continues eating without interruption. This hierarchy maintains order and prevents fatal injuries within the limited predator population. As the sun sets, the temperature drops fast across the volcanic island slopes. The island has its rules. The cold-blooded predator seeks shelter to digest the massive quantity of consumed food. Digestion requires an enormous amount of metabolic heat to process the raw meat. If the temperature drops too low, the food will rot inside its stomach. It finds a sun-baked rock that retains the necessary warm afternoon heat. The reptile presses its heavy belly flat against the warm stone surface. The slow and highly efficient process of internal digestion finally begins. It will not need to hunt again for another entire month. The energy from this single kill will sustain it through the dry season. Mammals would quickly starve here. This biological efficiency explains why giant reptiles survive on isolated and barren islands. The dragon closes its eyes and waits patiently for the morning sun. But survival here means constant vigilance against other large dragons on the island. Female dragons face a completely different kind of challenge during the nesting season. They must protect their eggs from being eaten by their own hungry kind. Adult dragons have no natural predators except for larger and older dragons. It is a harsh ecosystem where cannibalism ensures the population never exceeds resources. The island provides very little fresh water during the long and dry summers. They adapt or they die. A newborn dragon spends its first 5 years living high up in trees. It rolls in feces to hide its scent from the adults below. It hunts insects and small birds until it grows large enough to descend. Only the strongest and smartest individuals survive to walk on the ground. They grow into the largest living lizards on the face of the earth. Their existence is a glimpse into a world that time simply forgot. We used to think they were primitive and slow scavengers. Now we know they are highly evolved, venomous predators with mathematical precision. The slow assassin never rushes. It strikes once and lets the invisible venom do the real work. The water buffalo was dead the moment the serrated teeth broke its skin. In this harsh landscape, patience is the most effective weapon a hunter possesses. Time is the only thing standing between the predator and its inevitable meal. Outside, the dry wind blows. Inside, the dragon simply waits.